But if you close your eyes,
Top 10 Most Powerful Women Superheroes of DC and Marvel. Number 10. Emma Frost. Emma Frost is a mutant of enormous telepathic ability, and is also capable of transforming into an organic diamond state with enhanced strength and durability which suppresses her telepathy. Since her introduction, Emma Frost's primary mutant power has been telepathy. Diamond form. At the moment of the destruction of Genosha, Frost manifested a secondary mutation giving her the ability to transform her body into organic diamond. Innate traits and expertise. Frost has a gifted intellect with college degrees in multiple fields, including a Bachelor's of Science in Education with a minor in Business Administration from the prominent Marvel Universe's Empire State University. Telekinetic potential. On occasion, it has been hinted that Frost is also a latent telekinetic. Number 9. Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers. Miss Marvel initially possessed superhuman strength, endurance, stamina, flight, physical durability, a limited precognitive sixth sense, and a perfectly amalgamated human Kree physiology that rendered her resistant to most toxins and poisons, with the added effect of making her body virtually invulnerable and indestructible. As binary, the character could tap the energy of a white hole, allowing full control and manipulation of stellar energies, and therefore control over heat, the electromagnetic spectrum and gravity. Light speed travel and the ability to exist in the vacuum of space were also possible. After Rogue was purged of Danvers' memories and abilities by Hope, Carol Danvers' memories and abilities were returned to her years later. Number 8. Star Sapphire, Carol Ferris. The original Star Sapphire's powers are vast. She is equipped with an arsenal of weapons, including a replicate Zomran Star Sapphire, of unknown origin. She also has a variety of personal powers, through whether they stem from herself or her personal armament is unclear. She is also able to access the memories of the Zamrans regarding the Star Sapphire gem, such as the experiences of other wearers. Violet Power Ring. Corp members of the Star Sapphires use violet power rings, fueled by the emotion of love. They allowed the wearer to fly, generate a protective aura, and create violet light constructs. Violet rings have several unique abilities. Though Star Sapphires do not have a weakness to other core, they are immune to the energy-stealing properties of an orange power ring. They are more susceptible to being controlled by their own power. Love is one of the two emotions on the far ends of the emotional spectrum, and has a much stronger influence over its users. Unlike the Star Sapphire gem, which could force itself on the user, violet power rings must be accepted by the wearer. Number 7. SheHulk, Jennifer Walters. A transfusion of gamma-irradiated blood from her cousin Bruce Banner, the Hulk, granted Jennifer Walters superhuman powers. In her SheHulk form, she possesses enormous superhuman strength, that potentially makes her, by far, the physically strongest known woman in the Marvel Universe when her emotional state is sufficiently high. SheHulk's body is superhumanly durable and nearly impervious to force, pain, and disease. Her skin can withstand extremes of temperature, as well as tremendous stresses and impacts without puncture wounds or lacerations. Her enhanced physiology renders her immune to all terrestrial diseases. SheHulk also possesses a healing factor, which enabled her to completely recover, within minutes, from a skewering by the Wendigo. Number 6. Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman receives her powers as a blessing from the Olympian deities. Demeter, the goddess of agriculture and fertility, blessed Diana with strength drawn from the earth spirit's Gaia, making her one of the physically strongest heroes in the DC Universe and the strongest female heroine of all in the DC Universe. Pallas Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war, granted Diana great wisdom, intelligence, and military prowess. Athena's gift has enabled Diana to master over a dozen languages, including those of alien origin, multiple complex crafts, sciences and philosophies, as well as leadership, military strategy, and armed and unarmed combat. She can mimic voices, although it is more difficult for her to mimic a man's voice. Artemis, goddess of the hunt, animals, and the moon, graced Diana with the eyes of the hunter and unity with beasts. The eyes of the hunter ability gives Diana a full range of enhanced senses, including telescopic vision and super hearing. Unity with beasts grants her the ability of empathy, particularly that to communicate with all forms of animal life and to calm even the most ferocious of beasts. Hestia, goddess of hearth and home, granted Diana sisterhood with fire, that it might open men's hearts to her. This power has been shown to control the fires of truth, which Diana wields through her lasso, making anyone bound by it unable to lie. This ability also grants her resistance to both normal and supernatural fire. Hermes, the messenger god of speed, granted Diana superhuman speed and the ability to fly. She is one of the fastest beings, obviously inferior to the Flash family and unequal to Superman. Number 5. Jessi Chambers. Just like her father, Jessi has powers of flight and accelerated speed, resulting from the state of mind achieved from the visualization of the speed formula, 3x294a. Her powers are linked to the speed force. She also has her mother's super strength, enabling her to lift great weights, such as a car, with ease. As with her mother, the mechanism of her super strength remains unexplained, which irritated her father. She attributes her powers to a mantra like the formula used by her father to unlock his speed, and she can accelerate of her for running to faster than light. Number 4. Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff. The Scarlet Witch is a mutant who had the ability to manipulate probability via her hexes, often manifesting physically as hex spheres or hex bolts. These hexes are relatively short range, and are limited to her line of sight. Casting a hex requires a gesture and concentration on her part, though the gestures are largely a focus for the concentration, and despite this precision, the hexes are not necessarily guaranteed to work, particularly if Wanda is tired or using her powers excessively. If overextended, Wanda's hexes can backfire, causing probability to work against her wishes or to undo previous hexes. Number 3. Hope Summers. Hope Summers is an Omega-level mutant with an ability of unspecified limits to manipulate and mimic the genes which are responsible for superhuman mutation. She can also jumpstart a newly emerging mutant power, though to an undefined extent. She was also seen by Emma Frost exhibiting the Phoenix Force. Number 2. Jean Grey. Jean Grey is an Omega-level mutant, and at her highest and strongest potential is transformed into the Phoenix Force. Telepathy. When her powers first manifest, Jean is unable to cope with her telepathy, forcing Professor X to suppress her access to it altogether. Instead, he chooses to train her in the use of her telekinesis while allowing her telepathy to grow at its natural rate before reintroducing it. When the professor hides to prepare for the Znox, he reopens Jean's telepathic abilities, which was initially explained by writers as Xavier sharing some of his telepathy with her. Telekinesis. Her telekinetic strength and skill are both of a supremely high power level, capable of grasping objects in Earth orbit and manipulating hundreds of components in midair in complex patterns. She uses her telekinesis to often lift herself and others, giving her the ability of levitation and flight. She uses her telekinesis to create durable shields and energy blasts. She later manifests a telekinetic sensitivity, called the manifestation of the Phoenix, to objects in her immediate environment that lets her feel the texture of objects, their molecular patterns, feel when other objects come into contact with them, and probe them at a molecular or subatomic level. Number 1. Supergirl, Kara Zor-El. Like all Kryptonians under a yellow sun, the current version of Kara Zor-El possesses vast superhuman strength, speed, and stamina, invulnerability, flight. She can live in space without gravity, flying in galaxy, can go through the heart of the sun, both red and yellow, endure collision of two planets, survive black holes, withstand the explosion of nuclear weapons. She can freeze breath blowing from the mouth or stop to volcanic eruption, push for changes orbit of the meteor and comet, X-ray vision, P-vision, and super hearing. In Superman/Batman, Apocalypse, she was to fight with Darkseid. That is one of the most powerful characters in the DC universe. Although she lose, but she can fight, have a prestige. However, under awesome power of her have a weakness is defeat to Kryptonite. The modern-day Kara-Zor-El is also a capable martial artist, having trained with both the Amazons and the new gods of Apocalypse. She is also a symbolic representation of female that has a high talent and good behavior.